Akbar was born on 15th October 1542, while his father, Humayun, was living in exile after being defeated by Afghan ruler Sher Shah Suri in 1540. For years, Humayun wandered from fort to fort until he made a desperate move. He went to Persia and asked the Safavid Shah for help. With Persian support, Humayun fought his way back through Kandahar and Kabul, rebuilding an army piece by piece. Then in 1555, he returned to North India and defeated the Sur forces at Sirhind. Delhi was back in Mughal hands, but the comeback had a cruel twist. Just months later, Humayun died after falling down the steps of his library. Akbar was only 13 when he became emperor. He wasn't sitting in Delhi, he was in Punjab, near the Mughal camp after his early coronation at Kalanar, with his regent Bairam Khan trying to stabilize the frontier. The Mughals' biggest threat was Hem Chandra, known as Hemu. Hemu was the top commander for the Sur side under Adil Shah Suri. He won a long streak of battles, then marched straight for the capital. In 1556, Hemu took Delhi, and to show he wasn't just a general, he crowned himself with the title Vikramaditya. So Akbar marched south to stop him. At the Second Battle of Panipat, 1556, the fight turned on one moment. Hemu was hit by an arrow in the eye, he collapsed unconscious on his elephant, and his army panicked. Mughal soldiers captured him alive and brought him to Akbar's camp. Soon after, Hemu was executed and the Sur resistance in the north collapsed. After Panipat, the next battle was inside the Mughal camp. For the early years, the real power was Akbar's regent Bairam Khan, a war-tested commander who ran the empire like a military machine. But Akbar didn't want to be a shadow emperor. In 1560, Akbar removed Bairam from control. Bairam tried to resist, failed, and surrendered. Akbar didn't order an execution. He gave him options, and Bairam chose to leave for a pilgrimage to Mecca. But on the road through Gujarat, near Patan, Anhilwad Patan, Bairam was assassinated by a band of Afghans led by Mubarak Khan Lohani. What Akbar did next matters. He ordered Bairam's family to be brought safely to the imperial court with honor. Akbar later married Salima Sultan Begum, Bairam's widow, and he raised Bairam's son Abdul Rahim in the Mughal system, who would later become one of Akbar's greatest nobles. That's Akbar's early style: remove threats, but protect the people left behind. Once Akbar removed Bairam Khan, he stopped ruling like a boy king and started ruling like an empire builder. Akbar's first Rajput marriage was in 1562. He married Mariam-uz-Zamani, Harkabai, daughter of Raja Bharmal of Amer. Akbar removed the pilgrimage tax, 1563, and the jizya tax, 1564, which was harsh against non-Muslims. Many Rajput rulers started to accept Mughal authority, except for the Mewar ruler Maharana Uday Singh, who refused Mughal submission, marriage alliance, and refused to attend Mughal court. Akbar made his move. Akbar's first target was the hardest resistance, which is the Chittorgarh fort in present-day Rajasthan. It was a massive fortified hill city and the capital of Mewar. After a long siege in 1567-1568, Chittor fell, but the victory came with a dark message. Chronicles describe a mass killing after the capture, with figures often given in the tens of thousands, commonly repeated around 30,000. It was meant to warn every fort in North India, don't test this empire. After winning wars, Akbar faced a bigger problem. How do you stop generals from becoming mini-kings? And how do you stop tax officers from cheating the system? So, Akbar built controls. First, from the 1570s, he strengthened the mansabdari system. Every noble got a rank, a salary, and a fixed duty to bring soldiers when the emperor demanded. Your power depended entirely on the emperor's favor, not on your private army. To keep them in check, Akbar frequently transferred his mansabdars, generals, to different parts of India. A general couldn't become a mini-king in Bengal if he was suddenly ordered to move to Kabul. Second, he introduced checks like Dog, branding every horse with a royal seal, and Chera, soldier registration, so commanders couldn't fake their troop numbers and horses to pocket the extra money. Then, around 1580-1582, Raja Todar Mal, Diwan-e-Ashraf, meaning finance minister, fixed the rampant revenue corruption with the Dasala system. Tax was based on measured land and the average yield of the past 10 years, so collections became predictable. Because taxes were standardized, a single bad harvest didn't ruin a farmer. This stability turned the common people into stakeholders of the empire. Most importantly, Akbar balanced the groups at court: Turani, Irani, Rajput, and Indian Muslims, so no single faction could dominate the state. That's the Mughal secret. Akbar didn't rely on one loyal group. He built a system where everyone needed the empire, more than the empire needed them. Result: nobles were controlled, records were tighter, and the empire could fund its massive army without constant chaos. After building control and revenue, Akbar tackled the most explosive problem in India: religious division. He couldn't run a diverse empire by favoring one community, so he shifted the state toward inclusion. Then he did something rare for kings. He listened publicly. In Fatehpur Sikri, he hosted debates in the Ibadat Khana, hearing arguments from Muslim scholars, Hindu pandits, Jain monks, and even Jesuit visitors. Akbar's goal wasn't mix religions, it was stability, make the empire feel like a shared home, so fewer people wanted to burn it down. Akbar didn't stop at North India. In his later years, he turned toward the Deccan because that's where the next power centers were. Mughal armies moved south against the sultanates, and by 1601, Akbar had brought Khandesh and Berar under Mughal control and pressured Ahmadnagar, opening the road for full Mughal expansion in the south under later emperors. At the same time, Akbar watched the wider world. The Portuguese controlled sea routes on India's west coast, so Akbar kept diplomacy active, especially through missions and negotiations linked to Goa. So Akbar's empire wasn't only a land empire. It was a state preparing for the next century's battles, on new frontiers and against new kinds of rivals. Akbar's last years were not peaceful, because the fight for the throne began before he died. His son, Prince Salim, the future Jahangir, had already rebelled and tried to build his own power base. That made the court fear one thing: if Salim became emperor unchecked, blood would follow. Then the next twist: Salim's own son, Prince Khusrau, became a serious political alternative. Khusrau was young, about 17 or 18, but many nobles saw him as a safer successor. Akbar tried to control the crisis by keeping both sides under pressure, and several accounts say Akbar favored Khusrau in his final phase because it would block Salim's faction from dominating. But Salim moved faster in the end and secured key support. Akbar died in 1605, age 63. Salim moves fast, secures Agra, and becomes Jahangir. Akbar's life ends with a warning and a legacy. He began as a 13-year-old fighting for survival, and died in 1605, age 63, leaving one of the strongest states in the world. His system survived because it wasn't built on one man's personality. It had ranks, records, revenue, and a court that could run even when the ruler was weak. But Akbar's last years also proved the empire's permanent weakness: succession. Even the best administrator couldn't stop family power politics from starting early. That's why Akbar is remembered in two ways: as the emperor who made the Mughal state work, and as proof that the hardest thing to control isn't the empire, it's the throne after you.